This is KGW News at noon.
And we start with breaking news in Tualatin. That's where students have evacuated a middle school over a threat of violence. Just after 10 o'clock this morning, the district announced it was sending students home from Hazelbrook Middle School. Parents were told to pick up their kids if they don't ride the bus. We do have some video from outside the school just about 30 minutes ago. We followed up with the district and they told us the threats started coming in last night. Tualatin police determined none of them were credible. However, this morning an email came in with a direct and detailed threat to staff and the school. After that, the district decided to evacuate. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Brenda Braxton. So let me fill you in on the backstory to what happened. This school has been in the spotlight after a video of a fight got shared on social media. We're not going to show it here today, but conservative activists have claimed without any evidence the attacker was transgender. Riley Gaines is one of the activists who shared the video online. She's a former collegiate swimmer and a vocal critic of allowing transgender women to compete in women's sports. Right now, her post of the video has more than 10 million views. The Tualatin School District put out a message last night after that video blew up. They said administrators took quick action against the student involved in the fight and law enforcement is now involved. They wrote, students and adults contributed to the sharing of this recording that exposed minors who were directly and indirectly involved without consent. In addition, the sharing of this incident has spread across the country and beyond, inspiring false information and a focus and discourse on sexual identity. These acts have contributed to the trauma individuals and families are already experiencing. Well, the FBI now investigating after the superintendent and the school board members were doxxed. They found their personal information online. KGW's Tim Gordon is at the school right now. He's trying to get reaction from students, parents, and staff. We will have the very latest for you coming up on the news at 4.
She was a historic figure, trailblazer for women, and a great friend.
Senator Dianne Feinstein was one of the most amazing people who ever graced the Senate.
Tributes are pouring in for California Senator Dianne Feinstein, who died today at the age of 90. She was one of the most powerful lawmakers in the U.S. Senate and made history along the way. Senator Feinstein was the longest-serving female senator the U.S. has ever had. NBC's Drew Petrimo takes a look at her legacy.
Senator Feinstein, hi.
Dianne Feinstein never came up against a barrier she did not want to crush. Born in San Francisco, she began her political career serving the city she loved, becoming the first woman president of the Board of Supervisors. Then the first woman mayor, elected in 1978. Feinstein set her sights higher.
Do you think we can win? Yes! Are you going to help? Yes! Are you going to walk that walk? Yes!
Becoming the first female senator of California in 1992. In Washington, she continued that path as the first woman to chair the Senate Rules Committee and the Senate Intelligence Committee. And in 2022, at the age of 90, became the oldest sitting senator.
It's a very, very sad day for all of us.
May she rest in peace. She left voting the last day.
Feinstein made fighting wildfires and drought top priorities, as well as pushing more fuel-efficient vehicles. She authored the federal assault weapons ban in 1994. In 2020, colleagues became concerned about her health and cognitive issues. In February 2023, Feinstein announced she would not seek re-election.
Senator Feinstein was married 3 times and has 1 daughter. Earlier this year, a bout of shingles and complications led to an extended hospital stay. Colleagues urged her to step down from office, and she eventually announced she planned to retire next year. In Washington, I'm Drew Petrimo, NBC News.
Oregon Senator Ron Wyden posted on social media saying, heartbroken this morning. Dianne Feinstein was a treasured friend to the Wyden family. She was an extraordinary advocate for San Francisco, for California, and for the West. The top general in the U.S. retired today after a 4-year tenure. There was a ceremony near Washington, D.C. for Army General Mark Milley. He served at the Joint Chiefs of Staff during the Trump and Biden administrations. His tenure included withdrawing troops from Afghanistan and a falling out with former President Trump. Milley handed over command to 4-star General Charles Brown. He's an Air Force fighter pilot with 130 combat flying hours and 39 years of service. All right, let's talk weather because we are in for a nice weekend. Rod is joining us with all the details.
Well, if you look outside, it's still cloudy, and you might be thinking, it could still be raining this afternoon, but most of us have seen the last raindrop, at least in the immediate forecast. Now, clearly behind me, you can see the clouds still working up, but the green represents the rain. And notice how this has stayed south of Portland for the most part. And earlier, quite a bit of rain still around Eugene and Salem, but that is even starting to fizzle out as the rain showers move across the Cascades and out into eastern Oregon. So our local radar, Portland, Salem, dry, a few specks of shower activity, including you folks out in McMinnville. But again, you get the picture. It's not going to pick up. So most of us have seen the end of it. And here's the Astoria column camera. Again, I like to use this as a barometer because when Astoria starts to see improving conditions, that usually trickles right on down the road, and seeing partly cloudy skies opening up out over the Columbia. You drop south along the coast, it's still overcast. Here's Lincoln City from the Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera. 63 is the temperature. Portland has the clouds, but we have been dry in downtown this morning. We're currently at 60. We'll leave the high temperature at 65. The weekend is dry. The weekend has sun, and the weekend has temperatures that I won't share with you right now, but I will coming up in just a bit. Back
All right, talk soon. Thank you, Rod. A wrongful death lawsuit against the Clark County Sheriff's Office is moving forward. It comes 3 years after deputies shot and killed Kevin Peterson Jr. during a drug sting. Yesterday, a federal judge refused to dismiss the lawsuit. Peterson's family is suing Clark County, the sheriff, and the deputies who fired the shots. He died in October of 2020 while running away from officers. He did have a gun, but the lawsuit claims when he was shot, he posed no immediate threat to anyone.
The opinion seems to acknowledge that Kevin was shot while he was running away, that the first officer was shooting at his back, and that he had a cell phone in his hand when he sat up, not a gun.
The deputies involved were cleared of criminal wrongdoing. This is a civil trial, and it's scheduled to start on October 30th in federal court. Multnomah County commissioners voted 4-1 to spend more than $60 million on housing and homeless services next year. It'll pay for things like shelter space and rent assistance. The money comes from an unexpected surge in tax revenue. Sharon Myron was the only commissioner to vote against the plan. We have a full breakdown of where the money is going on our website, kgw.com. The mayor of West Lynn is upset with ODOT for asking the public to take a survey about tolling on I-5 and I-205. The mayor wrote this letter to ODOT leaders accusing them of trying to, quote, manipulate public input to receive only positive feedback. The mayor pointed to what he calls misleading questions, a lack of context, and a flawed survey design. You can check out the survey for yourself until October 9th. It's on ODOT's website. There are 3 tolling designs to choose from. We will have much more on this story and the pushback later today on the news at 5. And Kaiser employees nationwide are set to strike starting Sunday if talks today don't end with a new contract. The union includes pharmacists, surgical techs, housekeeping staff, and security officers, among others. They accuse Kaiser of unfair labor practices. Locally, a strike would impact about 4,000 Kaiser employees in Oregon and Southwest Washington.